Welcome back to Daily Lore. Reacting to this next video. It's pretty quick. It's an 8-minute video. Like the rest of this week, gonna be quick. Well, yeah, the rest of this week. Let's get to it.
An IQ of 85 to 115 is considered average in the US. An IQ of 115 to 145 is considered high.
After 10 years of marriage, I discovered my husband had a secret family when his business trip photos accidentally synced to our shared cloud account. Now I'm wondering if anything in our life together was real. I never thought I'd be posting something like this online,
They always say that.
but I'm desperate for advice from anyone who's been through something similar. 3 weeks ago, my entire world collapsed when I discovered my husband of 10 years, Mark, 38M, has been living a double life. Mark and I met in college and have been together for 15 years total. We have 2 children, an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. He works in software sales, which requires frequent travel. I'm an elementary school teacher. We've built, I met in
What?
college and have been together for 15 years total. We have 2 children, an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. He works in software sales, which requires
Software sales. Is that like an actual thing? Software sales. I wouldn't think you need to go on business trips for that. You could probably do everything online. I don't think you need to be in person to sell a software. Remote, video calling, remote showing. I mean, there's a lot of things to do you could do. You don't have to be in person. I could be wrong, obviously.
frequent travel. I'm an elementary school teacher. We've built what I thought was a beautiful life together in a suburban neighborhood with good schools and friendly neighbors. I believed we were happy. Mark travels about once a month for work, usually for 3 to 4 days at a time. Sometimes these trips get extended due to client meetings or team building events.
That makes no sense. Why do you need a what? That doesn't make sense. Nobody's selling that much, and if they are, why? I don't know who you're selling to. Like I said, everything's online. That just doesn't make any logical sense. How? Who are you selling to for this many days in a row?
I never questioned this because his job has always involved travel, and frankly, his income supports our family comfortably. He always brought back little
That makes
souvenirs for the
sense.
kids and would call every night to say goodnight while away. 3 weeks ago, Mark left for what was supposed to be a 4-day trip to Chicago. On day 2, I was looking for some vacation photos on our shared cloud storage to make a scrapbook when I noticed new photos being uploaded. I assumed Mark was taking pictures of his hotel or the Chicago skyline as he sometimes does. Instead, I found dozens of photos of Mark with another woman and 2 children who appeared to be around 7 and 5 years old. They were at what looked like a birthday party in a backyard. Mark was holding a cake. They were all smiling. They looked like a family. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. There were
This is terrible. It's not a good time to laugh. Obviously, this whole thing is not a good time to laugh. My God. Holy shit. I mean, I wouldn't say. Depending on how long it's been going on. Let's see.
hundreds of photos going back years, holidays, vacations, school events, all with this same woman and children. In some photos, Mark was wearing a wedding ring identical to the one he wears with me. I immediately called him, but he didn't answer. I texted saying it was an emergency. When he finally called back, I was too emotional to speak clearly. I just asked him who the woman and children in the photos were. There was a long silence before he said, "I'll be home tomorrow. We need to talk."
That's not a good sign. We need to talk. He's gonna come up with something stupid. Obviously, what I'm gonna say, I mean, she was emotional. She didn't really have time to think about it. So, I mean, it makes sense. She called him right away. But by you doing that, now he could try to make up some sort of excuse, which no excuse is gonna, doesn't matter what you come up with. In my book, no excuse is gonna excuse this. You're just digging yourself deeper by trying to make up something so stupid and outrageous.
In person. He came home the next day and confessed everything. For the past
Ooh,
9 years, he's been living a double life. The woman in the photos is named Jennifer. They met at a conference when I was pregnant.
okay, that's not where I thought it was going. Well, at least he's smart enough to know, no matter what he said, it wouldn't change anything. So yeah, good for him. He actually confessed. 9 years though. 9 years. Holy shit. Wait, what did you say? He had a kids with them. What age were they? 5 and 9 or something like that. My God. Wait. Hold up. So he had a kid right away. I forget. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen back to this obviously because I watch every single video after I done recording.
With our daughter. What started as an affair turned into something more permanent when she became pregnant. Rather than choose between his two families, he decided to maintain both. Jennifer lives in Cincinnati, about a 3-hour drive from our home. Every business trip to Chicago or elsewhere has actually been time spent with his other family. He has an apartment there under a different name. His real job does involve some travel, but far less than I was led to believe. Mark claims he loves both families and couldn't bear to lose either one. He said Jennifer knows about me and the kids but believed
Wait.
we were separated and
uh, dang, my dude, just no. Uh, you have to choose. You can't. No, just no.
staying legally married for financial reasons until the children were older. She apparently thought he spent most of his time with us due to shared custody arrangements. I feel like I'm living in a nightmare. Everything I believed about my life for the past decade has been a carefully constructed lie. The man I've shared a bed with, raised children with, built a life with has been methodically deceiving me for almost our entire marriage. I've asked Mark to leave the house while I figure out what to do.
Obviously, nobody likes being manipulated. So obviously, if she tells the other girl, obviously it's gonna. I keep using that word. I've noticed it's a habit of mine. I don't know why. It's just a habit of mine. I can't stop saying it for some reason. So I mean, of course, if you hear me say that all the time, it's a stupid habit I have. But back to what I was trying to say. What I was saying? Oh yeah, if she tells the other girl, nobody likes being manipulated. If she tells the other girl, then obviously, then she's gonna probably leave him as well. Of course.
He's staying at a hotel nearby and has been calling constantly, begging for forgiveness and claiming he'll end things with Jennifer if I'll give him another chance. He says our family is his real family and the other was a mistake he couldn't figure out how to fix. I haven't told many people yet.
It's a mistake that you couldn't fix. That I don't think anyone would like to hear that.
My sister knows and has been staying with me to help with the kids. I've told my closest friend, who's been incredibly supportive. I've consulted a divorce attorney to understand my options. The children know something is wrong but not the details, just that dad made a big mistake and needs to live somewhere else for a while. I'm struggling with whether I should contact Jennifer. Part of me feels she deserves to know the full truth, but another part feels it's not my responsibility to clean up Mark's mess. I found her on social media and confirmed she's real, as are the children. Their son looks so much like my own, it's haunting. The most painful part is realizing that while I was missing him during his business trips, feeling sorry that he had to work so hard and travel so often, he was actually living his other life, playing dad and husband to another family. I've been tested for STDs, thankfully negative, and I'm looking into therapy for myself and eventually the children. I'm functioning on
Honestly, that's smart. Honestly, that's smart. Honestly, I wouldn't think doing that, but that's smart.
autopilot, getting the kids to school, going to work, making dinner, but inside I'm completely shattered. I don't know if I can ever trust
Yeah, she's just on autopilot.
anyone again. I keep replaying our entire relationship in my mind, wondering what else might have been a lie. Were there signs I missed? Was I willfully blind? How could I have shared my life with someone for so long without knowing who they really were? I'm torn between
I mean, yeah, there are signs you miss, like the traveling. I mean, yes, there's certain jobs that require traveling for that long period of time, but not that many. Not really that many. And like she said, she didn't want to know. All she cared about at the time, because of course, humans, all they care about is, I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying in general, all we care about is who's bringing home money and if it looks fine on the surface. Nobody's going to go digging. If something comes out, then it's a problem. But if nothing comes out, then obviously, and if everything on the surface looks fine, then obviously there's going to be no problem, of course. But once something comes out, then there's a big problem.
heartbreak, and a strange sense of grief, not just for my marriage, but for the life I thought I had. The future I planned is gone, and I don't know how to move forward from here. For those who have experienced betrayal on this scale, how did you rebuild your life? How did you explain this to your children? Did you ever trust again?
You would trust again. It's just takes time, obviously, and meeting the right person, of course, or just talking to your friends or whatever, getting back out there or whatever. You tell your kids eventually that, I don't know, right now they're kids, so you're not really telling them like the whole truth. But as they get older, maybe you tell them something. Be like, your dad did something very bad for a long time, and he kept it a secret from us, and he hurt me. Something like that.
And most importantly, how do you reconcile the person you loved with the person they turned out to be?
Nah, you
Update.
can't.
It's been a month since my world imploded, and I wanted to update you all. Your comments and support have been a lifeline during the darkest time of my life. First, to address what many of you asked about, yes, I did contact Jennifer. After much deliberation and consultation
Okay, you did contact her. What did you tell her?
with my therapist, I sent her a message with some photos of my family as proof and suggested we speak. She called me immediately. The conversation was surreal. Jennifer was just as shocked and devastated as I was. Mark had told her I was his ex-wife who struggled with mental health issues, and that we maintained a friendly relationship for the sake of our children. She believed we were legally divorced and that his visits to our home were his custody time with our kids. She had no idea our marriage was still intact. We talked for hours, comparing timelines and stories. Mark had been maintaining elaborate lies for years, creating fake business
9 years. Honestly, I know this is bad, but this is impressive. Of course, secrets like this would eventually come out. This is impressive that you keep up this lie for 9 years. Not gonna lie, I am very impressed that you kept up this for 9 years. That's just, I mean, for a mistake on the other part, it is impressive that you can keep this up for 9 years without anybody figuring it out. Honestly, like I said, eventually most lies will come out in due time, of course.
trips and events to explain his absences to both families. He even had separate phones and social media accounts. Jennifer and I have spoken several times since then. There's no anger between us, we're both victims of the same man's deception. Her children are around the same ages as mine, which means Mark was actively planning and creating both families simultaneously. The calculated nature of it all is chilling. As for Mark, he's still trying to salvage something from the wreckage he created. When he realized Jennifer and I had spoken, he became desperate, alternating between begging for forgiveness and accusing us of ganging up on him. He suggested everything from therapy to an open marriage.
Ganging up. That's fucking hilarious. Trying to play victim. He's begging and he's trying to play victim. Oh my god, that's insane. Holy shit. It's just, I mean, it's kind of sad seeing somebody in this state, but I mean, it's his own doing.
Arrangement where he could still see both families. I filed for divorce. My attorney says it's one of the most clear-cut cases of marital fraud she's ever seen, and we're pursuing full custody with supervised visitation. Mark's parents, who I thought would defend their son, have been surprisingly supportive of me and the children.
That's because even for parents, there has to be some sort of line. I mean, you're a kid. Obviously, you like your kid. Of course, it's your kid. But even parents know there has to be a line for them to draw where they support you.
His mother called me in tears, apologizing for what her son had done. They apparently had no idea about his double life either. The hardest part has been explaining the situation to my children. With guidance from a child psychologist, I told them a simplified version of the truth, that Daddy made some bad choices and has another family that we didn't know about. That he loves them very much but won't be living with us anymore. My daughter asked if the other children were her siblings. That question broke me.
Yeah, they are actually. They are your siblings, half siblings.
Decided to stay in our family home for now, though everything in it reminds me of Mark. Jennifer is also divorcing him and staying in her home. Neither of us wants to create more
I don't know how you can get married if you're already married. Makes no sense. I mean, even with a fake name, you're getting married, which I don't know how it works. I'm not married at all, so I don't really know how marriage works. But don't you need to prove who you are or something? I don't know.
stability for our children during this crisis. I still have moments where I can't believe this is my life. I wake up expecting to find it was all a terrible dream. The betrayal is so complete that it feels almost incomprehensible. How could someone maintain such elaborate lies for so many years? My therapist says I'm experiencing trauma and that healing will take time. I'm focusing on creating stability for my children and taking care of my own mental health. I've taken a short leave from teaching to sort things out. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm certain of one thing: I deserve better than a life built on lies. We all do. Thank you all for your kindness, advice, and support. It has truly helped me find strength during this impossible time.
Yeah, and I think they'll get it.
This just in. Mint Mobile and Samsung are teaming up for an incredible new deal.
I think they would probably get peace eventually. Once they trust more. Once they can actually trust people more, or trust a guy more, or whatever, they could probably get through this. And obviously, I feel like they're gonna. Of course, when she can trust more, when they can trust more, I feel like they would probably reach out and they'll set up a play date for their kids or something with the other mom, so they could see their siblings, because they are siblings. So, and that's going to be a good relationship to actually have for her, because then they could bond over their trust issues, which is probably healing in itself as well. I mean, there's always some sort of silver lining for everything. Found out he's a cheater, but now you have, if you want, you could have a relationship with the other mom as parents, and your kids could grow up to get to know each other. So, I mean, that's a silver lining, if you want to think about it that way. But yeah, I mean, after 10 years of marriage, I discovered my husband had a secret family when his business, and that was Dead Spies, Reddit, Story, React.